And okay, welcome back everyone to Strange Planet Podcast. And as we continue in the final season of America, where it seems like democracy and rights are going to die, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. And Christ, where do you even start? We've gone from Trump wanting to deploy more of our own troops against our own cities. I believe Chicago was on the map next, to Letitia James, who's now been indicted, which particularly I actually find kind of interesting, because does anybody not realize that like anyone who had like went after Trump for breaking the law is now basically being under attack by him or being indicted by him? You know what I mean? Like, does not anybody not see the parallel there? It's kind of strange, you know what I mean? And pretty
I don't know
obvious.
how anyone could not see the parallel, but
Exactly. Go ahead.
you know, eh, it's no coincidence because just a couple of weeks ago, Trump put out a list. He sent a what he thought was a DM to Attorney General Pam
Hey,
Bondi,
buddy.
Mm-hmm.
telling her to hurry up and indict Comey, Letitia James, and there were a couple of other names on there. Um, So we'll see if those names are added to the list of Trump indictments. But yeah, Letitia James, who pursued a successful lawsuit against Donald Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and the uh, judgment as far as the monetary damages was deemed excessive. It was like something like 500 million. So now they're in the process of reassessing that. But he still was found liable, found guilty. And so, he's going to have to pay something and probably a significant amount.
It better be significant because otherwise, it's a slap on the wrist for these fucking rich people or wealthy people or whatever. It's just, uh,
It's sad.
and
I mean, you need something to
yeah.
compel them to not do the behavior again, and to
Are,
prevent others from doing similar behavior. And
are
if
we?
you're a quote unquote billionaire, which Donald Trump probably is now because of his crypto scam, but um,
Mm-hmm.
if he's not going to be deterred by a few million. It needs to be a significant
Yeah,
amount.
you're right. It's got to be more. You're right.
500 million seemed fine to me. That's half a billion. That's one of what? The 20 you have.
And that's an interesting
Right.
theory. That's an interesting fact you just brought up too. The fact that Trump now is probably a billionaire, but when he was first elected, he wasn't. So, what other
Wasn't.
U.S. president do you know became a billionaire, becoming a president? You can't.
Yeah.
There isn't any,
Well, what other
Well, yeah.
president launched a scam crypto coin?
right? And what other president sells? What do you call it? E-cars
Whatever,
on the White House lawn?
no, it's not even that. What other president shakes down media companies for, tens of millions of dollars
Right? What other
um
president also
with
deploys our own
lawsuits?
troops against our own
All
people?
right, all right, guys. We can do the Your Mama's So Big jokes all we
You
got.
do this all day,
Do
man.
this all day
So it's
with
just,
just the shit he's done this year. It's
yeah.
crazy.
And now the interesting thing upcoming too is basically them cutting the Social Security and healthcare and all that starting in 2026. As soon as then, as far as I know, it looks like premiums are going to double. So I hope that's making America great, because that's what you guys wanted,
Well,
right?
that's what the whole government shutdown thing is about. That's still not a law yet. So hopefully we're trying to avoid that, but
Well,
it's
let, let,
definitely on its way. If
Right?
let's talk about that for a bit because I
Yeah.
feel like most of the media like sort of glosses this over.
yeah,
Like, when I first, well, how does it, actually impact health care? Because, Republicans are like, oh, we want a clean CR, uh, continuing resolution in the House of Representatives and Congress. So the continuing resolution is something that would fund the government at the previous year's levels. So that sounds fair. Like, you know, if we don't have an agreement on the budget, let's just continue what we were doing last year and just continue it this year until we come to a new agreement on the budget. that sounds all well and good until you realize that portions of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, need to be renewed from time to time. They need to be continuously funded through congressional approval. And so, it just so happens that, it needs to be funded again through the government. Subsidies that go toward Medicare, Medicaid, and uh, the insurance markets to help people afford their health care. And so otherwise, people's health care would be a lot more expensive. And so uh, what people are going to realize if those subsidies aren't renewed, their premiums are going to go way up.
Hmm.
And, at first it'll affect only people that are, either on Medicare, Medicaid, or participating in the health insurance markets that were created by Obamacare. But it will also affect private insurance. If work for an employer and your employer provides insurance, it's also going to affect you eventually because, a lot of the same companies also get the subsidies. And if they're not going to get the subsidies and people leave because of that, they're not going to pay those high premiums, then that's less people in, that risk pool. And so that will spill over. So they're going to want to make up the money somewhere. So they're going to charge uh, employer-based healthcare more in terms of premiums to make up that difference.
Wow.
So just because you aren't on Obamacare and don't, get it doesn't mean that you won't be affected by this.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
it's very important to understand.
Very true, because it affects everybody. And I think that's what a lot of, especially the MAGA crowd, went right over their heads. They didn't think that one through. Not that it's
Well, you
Oh
all
know what it
no.
bad
is?
Well,
Though?
either.
It's not that
well,
it went over their heads. It's just all they're hearing is from their leaders is like, oh, they're giving free health care to illegal immigrants. They're giving free health care
Yeah,
to.
that's true too.
They're jamming that point down everybody's throat. Even when you point out to the fact that, oh, hey, this book of laws says that's illegal, and we don't actually do that.
Hmm.
right.
Then again,
Right.
on no unreal facts, which is what the Republicans have been doing pretty much since Trump was elected the first time.
Right.
It's just fake news. It's become fake everything with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only government funded healthcare that illegal immigrants get is emergency treatment. Like, if they have an emergency, just like any other human being, and they get rushed to a hospital, then you get treated. They're not just gonna let you die.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a law that was put in place by Ronald Reagan. And so, if you are upset about that, then first of all, check your morals. And
Yeah.
second of all, you know, maybe you're a Christian. Um, you might want to read that book again to
Yeah. For real.
get some guidance on how Jesus would feel about leaving people to die.
Right.
Yeah.
A little
But
morality lesson.
it's really like um, the right thing to do. If someone's um, you know, critically ill and needs immediate assistance, that we help them. Doctors take the Hippocratic Oath. They have to help people. They're not just going to leave them to die in their hospitals. Now, beyond that, there's no entitlement for illegal immigrants when it comes to healthcare.
Right. They just believe whatever, these
It's, yeah.
conspiracy theories say at this point, because that's not a thing. But yet, I mean, that's what they're going to say to, rile their base up. You know what I mean? Because that's all it takes. The word immigrant. Oh, the fire is ignited. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
just,
And
yeah, it's insane, man.
and Mike Johnson is doing a great job of being their mouthpiece, spitting out these ridiculous facts that like, oh, the Republican Party is the party that cares.
Yeah.
No, not about
Well,
you, not about
Right.
your
well,
family.
the funny thing is, Mike Johnson sent, everyone home on vacation, but yet he has enough time to, tweet about Bad Bunny being invited to,
Perform at
the
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl halftime show.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, dude, do your fucking job.
Right?
Well, yeah,
Okay, like
they still haven't confirmed one of the Democrat
right. They still haven't approved or sworn in a duly elected House member, won a special election, was supposed to be, a member of Congress, and you know, Johnson's just like, no, we're not going to do that until the government's open. Okay.
at first it was like, oh, it's scheduling. It's just like, yeah, but you had the time to do it and you didn't. Like,
You have
yeah,
the
well,
time. You have the
everyone's
time
gone
to
away.
comment on Bad Bunny,
Right, but not
but
this.
not
Right?
doing your job to swear in a member of Congress that was elected by the people.
And
They need a
don't let
representative
yeah,
to
and don't
weigh
let
in
him
on
fool you
things.
because he's saying that like, oh, we can't do it while we're on vacation of this sort of manner. When they did it earlier this year for two Republicans,
Of course,
so
it's the Mitch McConnell theory.
Yep.
You have to follow the rules, but we don't.
Right.
exactly.
Right. It's like a
Oh,
pick and choose,
and speaking of Mitch McConnell today, I saw a clip of a human being told in his little earpiece. Could you don't hear it, but you can see his face change. He's having a conversation with a reporter, starts talking about something, and then
Let's
stops.
say who it is first.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
talking about Stephen
Steve
Miller,
Miller.
right?
All right, Steve Miller was in there talking about Donald Trump, sending his troops into other, states and whatever, against, the governor's will, because he wants to say there's trouble in that state and he wants to put troops on the ground so he can start this before election day where he can try to steal the election again. Anyway, getting back to my point, Steve Miller's on camera talking about stuff. He gets to a point where he's claiming that Trump has power to do this, and then he stops mid conversation,
Yeah.
goes to Mitch
Right.
McConnell, just quiet.
Yeah, he said plenary authority.
Yep. That's the
Plenary authority.
terminology. Yep.
And
Which
that's I think someone barked in his ear like, shut the fuck up. You're
Yeah,
saying too
because
much. Shut up.
yeah, because he literally was in mid sentence and then did the Mitch
Mid-sentence.
McConnell
Stops
cut.
cold.
Yeah, and then
And
just
just
stares at the screen, and then the CNN reporter was kind of like, "Hey, you there? Hello."
right. Yeah, I mean it was kind of weird because if
yeah.
it wasn't like a technical glitch
Nope.
because he wasn't trying to listen to someone, he was still speaking, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden he just stopped speaking.
How
yeah,
about
and then
And
just
just stood
literally
there. He didn't say
silence.
hello. He didn't
and
like,
He didn't even respond when
yeah,
the
he just
interviewer was
froze.
like, "Hello,"
yeah.
like
And the
Well,
nothing.
yeah,
interviewer
maybe he
cuts
couldn't
away.
hear at that point, but you would figure he'd say hello. You would figured he'd try to make contact.
Yeah.
That was very weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not gonna lie,
And
that
the
was
worst
very
part
weird.
is they clip away to I guess commercial something for a few minutes, then come back and continue the interview. But that whole thing that happened, that conversation, whatever he was saying, just never happened. Moving on.
Right.
Nothing to see
Yeah.
here.
No, exactly. It's like, oh, well, moving on.
Yeah, it's it's crazy when the country is being destroyed right in front of our eyes,
Yep.
and people like us have no power to do anything about it.
Well, we did, but a portion of us decided to, listen to all the
Well,
hypocrisy and
it's
lies, and you know what I mean? Because technically, that should have been decided in November, but it shows that this country is not all lit
I
up.
still believe there was some fuckery going on.
But I still don't rebuttal that. I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah,
There's just too many. It's like Swiss
the
cheese. You
the
know what I mean? Too
fact
many
that
holes
Trump
in
was
that bitch.
already like, I need to fight this. Oh, wait a minute, I won. It's
Yeah,
just like
right.
he was surprised he won.
That's the only
So
time that he's happy. Like, you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
otherwise,
he's
if
supposed
it
to be like,
went the
yeah,
other
I
way, it's
won. I'm
fake.
supposed to win. He was surprised, and
Yeah.
that tells me he was expecting to have to fight. So I don't know if like half the country decided to become trolls, and if you
It's
did
starting
do
to look
that,
like it.
I'll be honest. If you voted for Trump to be a troll, seriously, because you just screwed everybody.
Yeah, including
But if you
yourself.
voted for Trump because you like Trump, that's your vote. But at the same time,
You're paying for it.
now we're all not just you, everybody's paying
Yeah,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah, he's sending his troops into every state because he wants to make that commonplace like everything else. Like politicians openly breaking the law in front of everybody's face. and nobody does anything about it.
Right? They just stand there like deer in headlights.
Yeah, and then he wants to prosecute other people. It's crazy.
All right, everyone. That's all we got for this week on Strange Planet Podcast. Will America get its morals back and integrity? Who knows? I guess we're going to find out next week. But thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Peace.